Are you in it for the characters or the plot? Yo, what's up guys, the Insane Game Freak here to bring you kind of another discussion video. I'm here to kind of question and see where you guys are coming from, even though I'm pretty sure I have the base majority of how this is going to go, but I just want to see the responses I get for this, whether it's video or comments. So here's the question in question. Okay, scrap that. So here's the question. What do you need in your anime for it to work for you? And I guess the better way to describe this is, do characters sell the anime or manga for you, or does the plot? Because I feel like for a lot of you, it's the plot. And the reason why I say that is because for one, and what I mean by that is, I mean usually character-driven stories and plot-driven stories are two different things. Character-driven stories are exactly what they sound like. The story progresses through the actions of the main characters, whereas in plot, the plot is what controls the story, and the characters are just dealing with the changes in the plot. That's pretty much what it is. For example, I take One Piece as a character-driven story, whereas Attack on Titan I think is more of a plot-driven story. And let me explain what I mean by that. Series that have more focus on the character rather than the plot. Like for the plot of Attack on Titan, it's the whole concept of the Titans are attacking. Everything these characters do are in response to the Titans for the most part. Everything has some type of correlation with the Titans. The Titans are the plot of Attack on Titan. Whereas One Piece, it's driven by Luffy's want to become the Pirate King, because even though there's a whole bunch of background shit going on, the main shit we're looking at for the most part is Luffy's adventure. We're following Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy is what starts the series, period. It's how it works. Now, me personally, I'm more of a character guy, which explains why my taste in certain animes isn't the same as the majority. Be warned, we're going to be making a lot of, I guess you can say, jabs at Attack on Titan. So, but just understand this is not a fucking, I don't want in the comments people being like, this is, Attack on Titan is great because of the reason. I don't want to hear that shit. That shit doesn't matter to me because I don't plan to watch it. I don't plan to finish it. I don't plan to look at it, so I don't want to hear any of this fucking, the Attack on Titan is this, and Attack on Titan is that, because at the end of the day, this is my opinion. That's why I'm saying, I'm just using it as an example because it's the anime everyone's talking about, and I figure that would be the easiest to go on. Okay, so to kind of give you more of an example, it's like, to me, people who are more into character-driven stories are the ones who can usually get into shows like Sket Dance or shows like Kimi no Todoke. To me, those are the ones who can handle watching slice-of-life type series. Because people who are into plot won't touch series like that, because the premise for those series are usually high school life, and a character's shy, or a character's funny, or a character's very antisocial, whatever the fuck, and then you're just watching them go through high school life. Whereas most people really, I think people care way more about plot than they do characters. And to me, I prefer characters, because characters to me will make a story interesting regardless of what the fuck it is. Like for me, I love Sket Dance. Sket Dance is probably one of my favorite shonens. What is the premise of Sket Dance? A freaking club that helps people. That is the most bullshit of a premise. That's the most basic of a premise you can get. Except for just having normal, except for like something like Azumaka Daioh, which is pretty much just high school antics. That's all it is, just high school stuff. Like actually, it's like, well, what's the plot for Azumaka Daioh? High school. That's it. But I love those shows because of the characters that are in them. Himiko is a G. Switch is hilarious. Sakaki is cute as fuck. Chio is one of those fucking lolly characters that you just love seeing abused. But at the same time, you feel bad because she's a lolly character. And when I say lolly, understand, in Azumaka Daioh, that doesn't mean like the fan service type of lolly. Like, she's just a little girl. I mean, she actually literally is a little girl. You know. But as I'm saying, like, with shows like that, and even One Piece, I love the character interactions. I've said this in a lot of my reviews. I love when characters interact. I love getting to see their personality through conversations and interactions. I don't have to have a fucking fight going on in the background, or have somebody destroying a goddamn building, or somebody getting raped, or cutting off heads and shit for me to enjoy a story. Whereas a lot of people are more on the Attack on Titan type of route. And I'm using that as my main argument because honestly, in terms of plot-driven shows, I don't have anything off the top of my head that's just inherently plot-driven that I don't inherently like, because most of the shows that are like that, I don't finish. And see, and to me, Attack on Titan is the prime example, because most people will tell you the weakest thing about Attack on Titan is the characters, not the actual plot. The plot is what people are fucking came in. It's like the humans have been enclosed in this little fucking bubble, and there's like a really small amount of them left, but they can't venture out and go outside and reproduce properly because fucking Titans are around, and Titans for whatever reason want to kill humans. It's not even like they need to, they just want to fucking kill humans. And they specifically want to kill humans. There are other animals around and they will ignore other animals and kill humans. Like, to me, like, right off the bat, that sounds more interesting. But people then go, why is it you can watch something like Skid Dance Azumanga Daioh, but you can't watch something like Attack on Titan? Because the characters are fucking shit in Attack on Titan to me. Right off the bat. You give me I'll make a fucking basic ass comparison. And to me, it's like, the fans now are more into shit the characters can do than how the characters are. For example, Nami is not an inherently strong character in terms of physical attacks and shit. She's competent, but almost anybody on that fucking boat can beat her ass. Like, it's not even funny. But I view her as a better character than Mikasa, who is by all means physically stronger than Nami is. Like, she would chop Nami's head off in a fucking second. And we're talking about just physical strength. But people will probably tell you Mikasa is a fucking badass. Actually, I could probably say the same thing for fucking Himiko. Yeah, Himiko might be a better example because Himiko isn't as well loved as Nami is from One Piece, because it's fucking Nami from One Piece. Himiko, to me, is a stronger character than Mikasa is. And it has nothing to do with physical strength, because they're both physical powerhouses. For those who don't know, Himiko is from Skate Dance. But for whatever reason, it's like Mikasa just doesn't come off inherently strong to me. But as I said, people give a fuck more about what they can physically do than what kind of person they are. Let's look at Mikasa. Okay, she bases everything she does off of Eren. And people say she's a strong character and say she's such an original character because she's a character who can kick ass. You wanna know why people like Mikasa so fucking much? It's because she isn't a fan service character and she's legitimately strong without being like an overly sexified character. But that doesn't make her any emotionally strong. But people will call her a strong character and say she's a good character, even though it's pretty obvious that she's lopsided in one fucking area. It's like the balance will be emotional development and physical development. Dude, that's fucking Mikasa. Mikasa's just all into that physical development. This emotional development is just kind of it's shit. It's shit. But people will prefer anime series that have this dip in between the characters, and like you can switch out for characters and plot. Dip, it's fucking plot. You give me some creepy ass vampires that can kick ass. And even if they don't have any fucking character to them, they're just like the stereotypical badass, motherfuckers don't care. I'll give you an example of another show that's more, I don't want to say that because it kind of isn't. I kind of want to say Black Lagoon is like this too. But then again, granted, I'm only counting the first 12 episodes because I haven't watched the second half. But Black Lagoon is also another series that's more based into its espionage shit about it instead of the actual characters themselves. Like, most of the characters are fairly flat, except for the exception of probably like Rock and a little bit of Revy. But everyone else is just kind of like here, whereas it's all about the fucking action and the violence and all the shit that's going down with like the countries and the nations and all this other like behind the scenes dirty cop bullshit. That's what people care about. People care about like the shit going on instead of like the characters that are dealing with the situations that are going on. And that's what kind of fucking annoys the shit out of me, because to me, a character can make any premise awesome. A plot can't do that for characters. It can just put them in situations. But if you don't develop the character right, then it's not gonna fucking work. Whereas if you have a well-developed character and you put them in a very interesting setting, you put them in the most basic of setting, they can make that shit interesting. As I said, you have slice of life animes pretty much prove this, because they're, for the most part, character driven. Granted, there isn't like we don't have any shitty slice of lives. I'm just saying, slice of lives and just really chilled out school based shonens that aren't like overly dramatized and shit, and they're just like basic ass school life shonens, or just anime in general, can usually keep its fan base with the characters instead of trying to focus everything on plot. Honestly, we know for a great anime manga, it should have a balance of both. The problem is that most people view the plot setting and the effect it has on the characters as a good sign of, of an anime, even though it may just be lopsided. But you can, so that's the thing. If you have an amazing plot, you can bullshit your characters like up the ass, because it's like all you have to do then is just make them react to shit in the plot. You're just having them follow a fucking drawn out line you've already set on a path for the plot. Because the plot pretty much, it's like what the difference between character based and plot based is that characters, they make their own path. That shit can go all over the fucking place. Fucking walk upside the walls, jump up the side of a building, fucking walk around just on a sidewalk and shit. Whereas like with plot, the plot just directs the line. Literally, every time a character gets to a certain point, the plot will drag them into a different point. It's like, oh, we have a happy-go-lucky character, then plot comes in, ding, your mother's dead, now you're walking this way because now you're on the path of a vengeful motherfucker, and then you're just on that path for a while. Maybe some traumatic event happens and that makes you question some shit, but that's all plot-based. I'm not saying plot can't make good characters. I'm just saying it's actually pretty balanced. Like, you can't have over just good characters, because if the characters aren't doing shit gets old. For example, as I said, Skit Dance and Gintama to an extent, if you give me a premise as basic as this character's doing odd jobs or just helping people, after a while the same gags are gonna get old. But at the same time, it's the same thing with plot. You can't just have plot focused shit, because then you have these weak ass characters. To me though, to me, there's more room in improvement with more character-focused anime than there is plot-focused. Because character-focused anime, you can easily change the plot. I mean, fuck, look at Medaka Box. Medaka Box started off as a fucking, pretty much a Skit Dance ripoff. A club of people trying to help people. That's all the fuck Skit Dance is. I mean, not Skit Dance, Medaka Box is for like the majority of the first season. And then, oh look, plot shift, and then doom. Shit got fucking crazy and awesome and shit. That can't happen with Attack on Titan, because if you want to change the direction of these characters, it's gonna feel like it comes out of left field, because up until this point you've had the plot dictate how these characters are going to be and how they're gonna react to situations. You can't change a character in the middle of an anime and have them do a 180, because people don't flip the script that damn quickly. Like, you have to build that up to do that. And whereas with anime, with more character-driven shows, you can change the plot easily. It can go from a simple slice of life show to, oh shit, one day half the class is murdered and now we're in a prison fighting for our lives. Life can change on the drop of a hat. Human personalities don't do that. That's the problem I have with more plot-driven shows versus more character-driven shows. Plot-driven shows don't have that ability to be versatile, because they're more focused, because humans don't change that quickly. It comes off unrealistic and random as fuck when a person changes their mindset or when they react to something in the wrong way. That's why people flip out when it's like, why the fuck did Ichigo have this certain reaction? That didn't make any sense from his character. But when the plot certainly shifts, like when it did in Medaka Box, people don't fucking bother with that, because life can change that quickly. People don't. People usually have a gradual change. And if you don't show that small progression, which you probably aren't going to do, because if it's more plot driven anyway, the characters don't have that much depth to them anyway. That's the biggest problem. That's why I'm using Attack on Titan as a reference, because it's like, oh, Mikasa's going to become a great character. No, what you're going to have to do is he's going to have to slowly change Mikasa's character, because the world he's created has dictated how Mikasa is going to act. The way he has dictated shit for Mikasa, to have her randomly become tsundere as fuck and still be a badass would be random as hell to you. If Mikasa just randomly changed her character for the fuck of it, it wouldn't make any sense. But a Titan appearing out of nowhere and breaking down a wall, that's perfectly fine. You know why? Because plot can be random as fuck. Characters can't, unless you've established them to be crazy from the get-go. If you don't establish a character to be crazy or suffer from some disorder that would cause them to do that at the drop of a hat, then it doesn't make any sense. Whereas if you do it with a fucking plot convenient character, like, I don't know, a fucking Titan dropping out of the drop of a hat from fucking lightning and destroying half of a fucking city, that and then disappearing again, that can be random as fuck. That can be perfectly fine. So, as I said, the whole point of this discussion is just the question, are you guys more towards the plot heavy side of things or more character heavy sides? I kind of given my points on why I kind of pick character. And as I said, a truly great anime will have a balance of both. I'm just doing this. It's kind of like when I did I did something similar to this, and I can't think of what it was. This is a discussion on my channel probably, and if I remember what it is, I'll link it. But anyways, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. This has been the Insane Game Freak. Lots of games, let it win, and I will catch you guys later. Peace. Oh ho 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 ho. It's August. What the fuck am I trying to make a ho ho ho? Oh fuck it, whatever.